Hi, my name is Randy Fay. I'm RFA on Drupal.org, and I work with Drupal Commerce. I work with Commerce Guys on the Drupal Commerce project. And one of the first things that I do every time I have to mess with any kind of entity or data on Drupal is I use views. And really, anytime I use views bulk operations. So if you're not familiar with views bulk operations, you should be. It's just the greatest thing in the entire world. Let me just show it to you. Views bulk operations. It is the greatest thing in the entire world. It's available for Drupal 6 and Drupal 7. It's gotten quite a facelift for Drupal 7, but it doesn't have, although it has many new features, it doesn't have one of the most important old features yet, and that's the ability to set field values. So if you want to set a particular value on an entity like a product, it doesn't have that yet, and so I was forced to learn how you integrate rules with views bulk operations, and it's quite easy and far more powerful than just the little demonstration that I'm going to show you today. So the whole idea of being able to execute a rule or call a rule from views bulk operation is enormously powerful. And what we're going to do with just setting a value is one simple example. But let's go ahead and do it. First of all, I have a standard product view here. This is just an ordinary view of products, and it's a copy of the normal one, the one that's under Store Products List. But you can make a copy of that. Drupal Commerce is built on views for a reason. We want to empower you to make your store work the way it works for you. So here we have a copy of that view, which we're going to make a couple of changes to. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this view, and I'm going to add two things. One is I'm just going to add the stock value on, because I want to set the stock value for all of my products to 10. So down here we have stock. So I'm going to say add and configure on that, and there's not really much that I have to do with it. I'll change the 1000 marker not to be there. And so now I have stock in there, and now I want to add the views bulk operation field, because that's how it works. So I'll add the commerce product bulk operations field. So I'm going to add that. And as we go down here, we have to configure what we're going to allow views bulk operations to do. And it can do some things right out of the box. It can delete an item. I don't know how you would use displaying a message to the user. These are system actions. You could send an email to the owner of every product or something, but essentially the delete one is the only stock one that I use very often. But what we need is one that says I'm going to set the value of stock to whatever we want. So let's go ahead and fiddle with this just a little bit. I'm going to put the bulk operations field up at the top, which is where it belongs on a normal form. Okay, so let's save that and take a look at it. So now we have, move this over just a little bit. Now we have the ability to set a button, to click a button, and take an action on that. And the actions that we can take are just delete. Well, I don't want to delete anything right now. Well, here, I'll just delete something to show you how it works. We're getting rid of artificial life. Okay, so I'm going to select that one and confirm, and it'll delete that one for me. So it's deleted the artificial life one, and it's gone. And of course I could have selected all of them. If I select all, I have the choice of just doing the 50 rows that I have in this view, or I can select all 983, just as you would expect a powerful form like this to work. But what I really want to do is I really want to set the stock value. and I guess I'll set it to 100 since I already have it sent to 10. So let's go over and review what you can do with rules, and we're just going to make a special kind of rule which is called a component. So I'm going to go to configuration. I'm going to try to go to configuration, workflow, rules. I'm going to open that up in a new tab. And here we are, we're going to add a new component. So I'm going to click on components. If you're familiar with rules, the difference with components is that they take an argument, or they can be passed a parameter. Same general idea. So basically what we're doing is we're using a component so that views bulk operations can pass some data into rules. So I'm going to say add a new component, and the component I want is a rule, and I'm going to say set the stock value to I'm just going to say set stock value. Make it a little simpler here. Okay, and now here the data type that I want to operate on is commerce product. That's where the stock field is. I'll call that product, give it a capital P, and the machine name will be product, and then we're going to pass in an additional value, an integer value, and I'm going to call it new stock value, and we'll say that the machine name is new stock value. We could have more arguments than this, but I just want to demonstrate the basics of it here. We have two arguments to this component, two values that are being passed into this component, two parameters to this component. One is the product and the other is the stock value. So the views bulk operation can deliver these two pieces of information into the rule. So I'm going to save that, and now we need to add some conditions. There's one of the little quirks about rules is you have to bring fields into scope by checking to see if they're there before you can access them. So we need to add a condition here that says under entity has field, and we want to say that product has the field named commerce stock, and that will bring that into scope for us. And now under actions, we are going to say under data, we're going to say set a data value. And now it says, well, what do you want to set? And so we'll go and we'll say under product, we want to set commerce stock. So we're going to set commerce stock, and the value that we're going to give it, I'm going to switch to data selection here. The value that we're going to give it is this new stock value that is a parameter that we passed in. So let's see if we've got it all right. The data that we're accessing is product commerce stock, and the value we're going to put into it is new stock value. That should work. That is all that there is to it. We now have a component, and we're going to go back and edit our view, our views bulk operation view. And let's go ahead and edit it, and we're going to go edit the bulk operations field, and we should have something new there. Now under the operations, we now have the option of saying set stock value, and I'll just say we don't need a label for that or anything. Okay, so we're going to say set stock value. I'll just say set stock value, and I'll save the view. And now we have more options here. We have set stock value as an option. So if we go and select one of these and say set stock value, I'm going to set the stock value to 100. the ordering of time from the ancient computus to the modern computer. I think I have these ordered backwards, so let me just flip the updated date, and that one should be on top. Here's the ordering of time, and now the stock is set to 100. So now what I really wanted to do is I wanted to have the option of setting any set of these or all of them to 100. So I'm going to select all 983 of these and say set stock value. And I'm going to set it to 1,000 because we just got a big shipment in. And now I will have all of my products set to stock of 1,000. So it's before, it won't be very long before we have the ability to set fields out of the box in Views Bulk Operations. In the meantime, you have this technique. But really this is about how you can use views and Views Bulk Operations together, and of course how you can use that to profit with Drupal Commerce. So you see that our stock on all of these products is now set to 1,000, even though we didn't have an explicit field setting capability. So, okay, so what we did, we used an extra field in our view called Bulk Operations, because we've enabled the Views Bulk Operations module, which gave us the capability of having this little checkbox here. And we enabled on that both the delete and after we created the rule, we added the rule that will set the value. Then we went and created a rules component, a component that was a rule, and we added two, let me just go over there since we're reviewing. We created a rule, a component. I have to go to the Components tab here, called Set Stock Value, and it had two parameters, a product and a new stock value. And then what was in it was, first of all, a condition that says entity has field, because we have to do that to bring commerce stock into scope. So we said, does the product entity have a field called commerce stock? And then we created an action that said set a data value, and it took the, let's just take a look here, it was acting on product commerce stock, and it took the new stock value parameter that we passed in and stuffs that into product commerce stock. And then we went back and configured Bulk Operations to do that. So then our view could do all the things that we wanted to do, including setting the value or executing any rule and executing any conditions. So you could easily make a rule that had conditions so that, for example, only products with a price over $100 got their stock or some other field set to 100. You can do anything like that, anything that you could do with rules. So you could essentially push the decision making from views down into rules, and it's delightful. Anyway, I will write this up and put it on commerceguys.com and hope it's useful to you. And I'll post that view and that rule maybe as a feature and see if they're useful to you. Okay, thank you very much.